April 18, 1945, smack in the Ruhr Pocket, Western Germany. Over 500,000 worn-out soldiers, super tough vets who'd scrapped from Stalingrad to Normandy, made a choice that sounded nuts just months ago. They all surrendered together to the American guys, instead of keeping up the fight or slipping back to their German lines. What the Americans turned loose wasn't only better firepower, it was something way more crushing. A planned way of war that made fighting back not just useless, but kinda dumb. Now, picture jumping back, April 4, 1945, 6 a.m., east bank of the Rhine River, Lippe sector. The surround was all done. Field Marshal Walter Model, head of Army Group B, stood in his temp HQ, eyeing maps that spilled an unbelievable tale. In just 12 days, American tank tips had done what German war rules called flat-out impossible. WWII, full surround of a whole army group, 325,000 battle troops, plus backup units, supply crews, and wandering stragglers, adding up to over 430,000 guys caught in a pocket about 50 miles across. But those huge counts weren't what made this a never-before-in-war stories. German troops had gotten surrounded before, at Stalingrad, at Falaise, in loads of tinier clashes across east and west fronts. What set the Ruhr Pocket apart was what rolled out next. Or, really, what didn't roll out at all. No frantic breakout tries, no do-or-die final holds, no wild-eyed fight to the last round. Instead, over those next 2 weeks, the biggest bunch surrender in Western Front history played out. And it uncovered something that spooked the German top brass worse than any gadget. Their own soldiers had quit buying into fighting on Americans dubbed their style vertical envelopment. But that dry label hid a total shakeup in team arms war that got honed perfect over 3 years of scraps, from North Africa to the Rhine. Major General J. Lawton Collins, running 7th Corps, cooked up a war setup that didn't only smash German spots, it made holding them feel mind-blowingly undoable. The German soldiers boxed in the Ruhr had gotten fed stories for years that American forces were squishy, green, banking on gear overload instead of real scrap savvy. They'd been promised German move mastery and top-notch grit would smash American factory muscle. Army Group B packed Eastern Front survivors, fellas who'd clawed through Kursk and Kiev, troops who knew pocket fights and had busted free before. Yet, days after the pocket locked, whole divisions were folding arms without popping a single shot. By April 18th, when Model disbanded Army Group B and cut his men loose from their vow, over 317,000 had already stacked their weapons. By the time the pocket got fully mopped on April 21st, American crews had logged 325,000 captives, with tallies hinting total grabs, including those who folded right after, topped 500,000 when tossing in hooked-up Luftwaffe ground teams, SS, and Extra. Fighter groups across the factory-packed Ruhr zone. What hit the Germans wasn't your everyday army outfit. It was a fused wrecking setup running on rules they'd never tangled with. Not from Soviets, not Brits, not any past push. Americans had whipped up something war history buffs would later tag as a core shift in fighting. The knack for turning ongoing holdout not just tough or pricey, but flat-out pointless. The gear wasn't one lone tech toy. It was the butter-smooth blend of sky power, tank rolls, gun barrages, supply chains, and head game plays into a grinder that chewed up not only German fight strength but their drive to scrap. Each piece backed the rest, sparking a chain reaction that turned every hour of holdout more useless than the last. In his wrap-up note before disbanding Army Group B, Model penned, "Americans don't wage battles, they run factory runs. Our fellas square off not against an army, but a setup. Guts count for zilch when the foe can guess your every twitch, counter your every play, and trash your spot before you even plant feet there." 3 weeks on, Model slipped into woods near Duisburg and took his own life. No note left behind, but his aide jotted his parting words. "A field marshal doesn't fold. and I can't push my men to do what I won't. But his men had already picked their path, not from yellow streaks, but from spotting a hard fact their chiefs wouldn't swallow. Americans had forged a war shape where old-school soldier perks, guts, move smarts, stick to it, went null and void. You couldn't overpower a setup that had already crunched every comeback you might try. You couldn't sidestep crews owning every entry. You couldn't hang tougher than a foe whose lifeline snaked to a pristine factory core an ocean off. The yarn of the Ruhr Pocket isn't a straight-up clash tale. It's the instant factory-era war hit its endgame logic. When one crew's plotted path rendered the other's non-stop holdout not just undoable, but senseless. 500,000 German troops didn't fold from getting whipped in scraps. They folded because they'd been rendered yesterday's news. The German war playbook that tanked so hard in April 1945 sprang from straight wins. For 5 years, the Wehrmacht gobbled a continent on rules that hit like hammers. Speed, force packing, move bendy, and elite drills for lone troops and mini crew chiefs. The core was mission tactics, where chiefs at every rung grasped the main aim and greenlit their own paths to nail it. A German lieutenant could snap to field twists quicker than an American colonel could snag word from Divvy HQ. This spread out. Chief Webb let German crews routinely dance circles round bigger packs. From Poland, 39, to France, 40. Balkans to Russia's kickoff drives, this rig clicked like gold. German grunts drilled deep, even plain foot soldiers soaking lessons in solo think and scrap sense. A German squad chief wielded more pull and prep than heaps of Allied squad leads. This brewed a troop vibe where tiny man bands could land outsized bangs via top-shelf savvy and spark. By 1943, even amid stacking hits and plan flops, German move rules still cranked solid scores. At Kasserine Pass, February 43, fairly puny German outfits dealt shame stings to American crews in their debut big dust-up. Germans proved even outmanned and out-tooled, ace moves and battle-hard chiefing could flip gear gaps. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, steering Allied outfits in North Africa, got shoved to revamp American drills and rules post-Kasserine. Lessons stung sharp but rang true. American crews craved route shifts in scrap tackling. Sheer nerve and factory churn weren't cuts against a rival who could reliably outfox and outdance them at move-close range. But Germans botched a key slip-up. They banked war, staying locked on. These move clashes, scraps claimed by keener-drilled grunts nailing keener calls in one-off shootouts. They banked that with German move edge holding strong, they could counter American gear swells. What slipped past them was Americans weren't gunning for move clashes. They were forging a rig to wipe the move edge off the map. From 43 to 45, U.S. forces pulled a makeover with zero match in war lore. Wasn't about birthing sharper solo grunts, though American drills leveled up big. Was about birthing a fused rig where solo move calls weighed less than plotted ops top dog. American supply ramp-up scope was a head-scratcher for German brass. By early 45, American outfits in West Europe rode a feed net dumping 26,000 tons of goods daily. Every American divvy fording the Rhine packed gun backup slinging more weight per hour than a full German corps could lob in a day. But feed line solo don't unpack the head meltdown. Soviets flaunted monster gear top on Eastern Front. Yet German outfits kept clawing with do-or-die drive even in dead-end jams. At Budapest, German-Hungarian holds dug in 50 days through a blockade ending in wipeout near total. At Breslau, the hold crew scrapped 82 days, grinding on post-Hitler. Versus Americans, that same fire fizzled. Gap wasn't boom power, was clockwork sure and can't dodge. American rules morphed into what Germans tagged material battle, but that tag missed the head gut what made it soul-crusher. Americans hatched a plotted path where every German twitch sparked a locked-in mega reply. Gun spotters dialed blasts in minutes. Sky backup popped in an hour. Tank string swung to seal bug-out trails before German chiefs clocked their digs compromised. Wasn't Americans mind-reading German twitches via spycraft or genius chiefing? They just stacked enough kit to rig every what-if all at once. Colonel General Alfred Jodl, Ops head for German forces top command, scratched in his diary March 45. Yerses, Americans, our move rules morphed cage. Every rule that clicked versus Poles, French, even Soviets now backfires. Our bendy zilch when faux-rigged counters for every play. Our spark nada when every twitch unleashes mega payback. We tangle a rival who skips outsmarting us. They nulled smarts. This the scene Army Group B stepped into as American outfits bridged the Rhine. They hauled move mastery, vet chiefing, drive to a dust-up where none packed punch anymore. They geared for clash. What smacked 'em was factory flow blueprinted to nix clash flat. German hold setups in the Ruhr capped 5 years of grind-earned move lore. Army Group B wasn't Greenhorn Pack or beat-down guard crews. It held 116th Panzer Division, Normandy Vet Crew, 3rd Panzer Grenadier Division, Italy-France scrap vets, 38th Infantry Division, Eastern Front holdouts. These weren't shatter-easy dudes. General Gunther Blumentritt, chiefing 1st Parachute Army inside the pocket, hands-on watched hold preps through January-February 45. His scheme docs snagged post-fold showed finicky nod to takeaways from 3 years pullback. Every dig sighted with mesh fire zones. Every span rigged blowpacks. Every junction pre-zeroed for guns. Every prob American path prepped hold digs. The Ruhr factory belt handed built-in perks. Zone packed over 4,000 plants. Endless shaft digs. City chunks prime for hold scraps. Ground chopped by streams, cuts, factory knots funneling any push crew to clockable trails. German build crews burned months rigging digs to flip each plant, each block, each ford into slaughter spots. Spy reads nabbed from German divvy HQs showed they clocked American tricks. New American gun top shelf. Their rules barked instant scatter on spotting American front eyes. New American sky muscle. Plotted ops in crap skies, prepped hide digs. New American tank dances. Rigged anti-tank digs deep with plotted bug-out trails. What juiced German chief confidence wasn't blind to American beef. Was bet on battle-tested hold rules. The spot hold playbook, tuned through scrap years, laid out a tuned hold dig gripped by grit troops could rack 3 to 5 attacker hits per hold loss. Math scanned simple. Even with American 3-1 beef, storming tuned holds should spit back losses too steep to stomach. Lieutenant General Fritz Bayerlein, chiefing LII Corps, who'd dodged North Africa, Normandy, Ardennes lunge. His post-scrap logs hammered same corps. American outfits would hammer till hits hit home politics no-go, then halt to regroup. German aim no victory. Was Jack victory cost sky high. Each hold day cached time for miracle gear, truce talks, some Hail Mary staving full wipe, pocket hold crew stacked ammo for week-long scraps. Food hauls pooled from ring zone. Heel hubs planted in coziest tail spots. Talk nets webbed every prime dig. On page, Army Group B held full kit for drawn-out hold. Colonel Wilhelm Wenck, Ops hand for 15th Army, scrawled in his log, April 3rd, eve of surround. Americans'll deem Ruhr a whole nother scrap from their France sprint. Here we dig from tuned digs, backs to home soil. Here, they're zip zilch. They gotta roll our way, and we'll bleed 'em per click. We poured their plays, we clocked their rhythms, we geared. But every hunch in German scheme hid a killer glitch. They tuned for clash. They crunched for dust-up where move calls counted, Ground lent lift, drive, and savvy could buck gear short. They stacked a stronghold blueprint to tank blockade war as troop lore knew from ages back. What they couldn't tune for was rival who'd leveled past clash total. Americans hadn't rolled to clash for Ruhr, they'd rolled to churn it, and the split between those notions, clash versus churn, would snap clear hours post-surround seal, and once German, grunts grokked that split. Their finicky-tuned holds would flip from strongholds to lockboxes. What Americans slung at Ruhr Pocket no hush tool or flip tech was something heaps more demolisher. Plotted ops fuse honed to rule war buffs later dubbed synced war. Spark no in single sliver was how every sliver meshed as cogs in one rig. Idea brewed by Lieutenant General Omar Bradley's 12th Army Group crew, Winter 44. Ops hand Brigadier General Leroy Lutz birthed what he tagged Red Ball Rig, a synced method meshing spy, guns, sky beef, tank strings, feed lines on matched clocks that clocked German move replies sure thing and ripe for flip. April 5, 1945. 8:30 a.m. Surround day 1 full. Rig fired up. American P-38 Lightning Scout birds kicked grid loops over full pocket on tick-tock slots. Every lens sweep numbered, filed, snap readers at Nike Tactical Air Command Den, nabbed processed rolls in 2 hours per hop. No hunt for tanks or troop clumps. We're charting every German dig, every shuffle, every stash heap, birthing live sketch of full hold weave. By 2 p.m., prime pattern bloomed. German outfits reshifting to shield plainest American roll paths, bang per rules. American spy hands inked those on master charts, crunched what Germans couldn't sniff. Timing of German shuffles. At 4 p.m., American guns kicked on roads, junctions. Not where German grunts sat, but where they'd park in 30 based on eyed shuffle ticks. German chiefs pinged Army Group B den American guns seemed mind-reading their shuffles. They tweaked, shuffling off clocks, alt trails, American Snap Scout logged tweaks. Guns tweaked match, head whack instant. German post-scrap logs from kickoff days looped uncanny. American blasts seemed front-running every shuffle. Outfits night-shifting digs caught gun storms at fresh pads in hours. Hall strings alt-trailing found American fighter birds parked at swap junctions. No spy edge was plotted eye work birthing guess ticks. Colonel Edwin Simon, gun chief for 7th Corps, honed time-on-target play to smash tune. When American eyes tagged prime mark, Simon's rig synced multi-gun packs blasting from spread pads, clocking loads to smack same beat. A German dig might catch lone probe round. Crunch minutes to main storm. Try bolt, only for dozens of shells from 6 spread sides to dump in 5-tick pane. American gun scale, something German vets couldn't chew. 3rd Armored Division solo held tuned gun backup matching full Wehrmacht pocket army throw. When 7th Corps whistled corp gun backup, over 300 tubes could sink blasts. Ruhr Pocket held rough 800 German gun tubes, but skim ammo and non-stop countergun ping meant shy of 200 could bang any time. But guns mere anvil. Hammer was ops beat. American tank strings no direct German dig hits. Skipped 'em. Via radio chatter and Sky Scout, American chiefs sniffed line gaps hours post-birth. Tank strings would mine those gaps pre-German bench answer, slicing full outfits from feed and chatter. 2nd Armored Division demoed April 7th. Scout sniffed 4-click gap in German lines SE of ham. In 3 hours, Combat Command, a rammed full tank string through gap, stretched 15K, jammed prime feed trail for 2 German divvies. Surround German outfits clocked cutoff only when feed wagons ghosted. By then, American outfits locked block digs too beefy to crack Sand's mega pushback, and surround German outfits lacked juice or sink to mount. What had smashed no mere surround was the tick. German move rules stressed zip reply to brewing jams, but American ops outran German call loops. By when German chiefs sniffed snag, chattered orders, kicked replies, American outfits jumped next leg. Lieutenant Karl von Godau, Ops hand for 116th Panzer Division, inked in log April 9th. We forever reply to jams already flipped. Our chiefs nail calls for scenes long gone. By orders hit front outfits, Americans shifted, calls junk. We clash yester battle while they stake tomorrow's. Rig, no flawless. American outfits still ate savage hold at lock points, still ate hits, still hit jams where German movecraft sparked local edges. But those move scores zilch in grand ops weave. A German company might nail crossroads guard 6 hours, dealing hits to American push outfits, only to clock American outfits'd full-skipped dig and sliced bug-out trail. April 12, 1945, chain kicked earnest. What sparked as move flops bloomed to full-system cave in German chief weave. Snap point no lone dust-up. Was stack grok that non-stop hold served squat. American spy packs with nabbed German chatter kit, logged cave leave. Radio snags from German dividends spilled pattern. Kickoff cocky, then tangle, then claw, last fold. By April 14th, full battalions folding sans American outfits nearing digs, just strolled from forts, queued for American churn. 8th Panzer Division hands clearest demo. April 10th, Divvy logged peak scrap shape with 47 live tanks, 4,200 fight fit. Divvy Chief General Heinrich von Elverfeld barked orders for fierce pushbacks to mend German lines. April 13th, post 3 days grinding push plays, von Elverfeld pinged Army Group B. Every shuffle yanks instant gunstorm, every clump yanks sky smash. We nudge 500 meters. American tanks flank pop, we can't dance. We static die or fold. April 15th, von Elverfeld folded divvy with 38 tanks live, ammo for 2 more scrap days. Post grill by American spy hands, he spilled. I folded no from smash, but 'cause scrap turned slaughter. I could land naught but my lad's ends. Head probes by U.S. Army shrink crew with folded German grunts spilled shared threads. Grunts painted no power vibe unlike Eastern Front WWIIs. Soviets, solo guts and movecraft could flip local jams. ESVs. Americans, zilch they pulled, counted. One German sarge spilled to grill crew, verses. Russians, guts guy might hang, asixiu, bus. Americans, guts just meant blank death. Factory angle of American scrap showed in head-scratch ways for German grunts. American outfits eating hits scored fill-ins days out. Gear bites swapped overnight. Ammo burn that had hobbled German divvy weeks ran routine by American yard. 3rd Armored Division slung more gun rounds April 13th than full German pocket slung all week, but prime head gut no gear top. Was step lock can't shake. American outfits pushed on clocked slates, rolled exact as feed lines backed, then halted to pack. No dash, no extra gambles, no slots for German pushbacks, just churned ahead machine style, no heart and no brake. German grunts tagged it steamroller war. No shine, no hero slot, no path for guts or craft away. Couldn't bushwhack steamroller, couldn't dance it, could only bide till it rolled, then squash or sidestep. By April 16th, American outfits churned over 150,000 captives. Feed web for fold handles grew slick as scrap ops. Captive churn stops ran line principle. German grunts got unloaded, logged, fed water grub, shipped tail zones hours flat. Slick alone, gut punched, Americans churned full divvy folds with same plotted slick as scrap. Field Marshal Model's den held chatter to April 17th. His last ops calls spilled chief grokking full jam, but balking swallow. He greenlit unit chiefs to fold, If hold-eyed pointless, de facto busting command, sans formal bow out. April 21st, last tuned German hold in pocket quit. Final captive tallies. Topped 325,000, biggest bunch fold in Western Front lore. American hits full gig, 10,000 banged up, 2,000 gone. German hits, rough 10,000 scrapped dead, rest nabbed, hit split, usual hold lean in tuned digs, flipped total. Eastern Front spilled raw frame. In Courland pocket, 200,000 German grunts held versus Soviet outfits to war close, eating over 150,000 hits, but no bunch fold. In Heiligenbeil pocket, German outfits ground 2 months. 80% hits pre-final Soviet grab die Type-Wies. Soviets, Germans ground to blank wipe, Poos. Americans, they picked hang on. Post-scrap digs by American and German warlore crews pegged Ruhr Pocket as factory war's logic cap. Americans birthed rig where people threads, guts, chiefing, move craft, went ops zilch, no from German grunts short those, but cause American rig leveled past where those could sway plays. General Eisenhower's dispatch to joint top brass spilled. Ruhr gig proved tuned factory-era scraplands knockout bangs, with skimpal hits. Key plotted fuse of full scrap limbs. Ticking tempo nixing faux reply. 500,000 German. Grunts who folded over keep scrap no clash whipped, they'd got nulled by war shape needing no smash 'em. Just churn 'em. The difference showed it was the end of fighting like old times new.